After a nearly 4-year wait, Jurassic World is making its triumphant return to theaters this summer with Jurassic World Dominion, the self-described epic conclusion of the Jurassic era. And of course, with any major film release, you can expect a dinosaur-sized stampede of officially licensed Jurassic merchandise, especially toys. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at every Jurassic World Dominion-inspired toy that has been released to date by Mattel as part of their 3.75-inch scale action figure range. This not only includes toys of all new species like the villainous Giganotosaurus, but also human characters, vehicles, and even playsets. And yes, we'll be showing the DNA scan code tags embedded within each figure too. Let's take a quick break before we dive into the video to talk about a different kind of Jurassic dinosaur collecting. If you think my toy shelves are impressive, you should see the epic amount of dinosaurs I've collected in Jurassic World Alive. Thank you to JM City for sponsoring today's video, and thank you to Universal Studios licensing. You can download the game for free using the link below on your mobile device or tablet. I'll also be sharing how you can enter for your chance to win a trip to Universal Parks and Resorts in Hollywood or Orlando. Stay tuned till later in the video to find out more. Welcome to Jurassic World Alive. It's one of the top augmented reality collection games on the market and really stands out from the rest, not just because it's Jurassic, but because of some awesome features too. First off, there's a huge interaction range when you play, so you don't even need to go outside to advance and get stronger. Other games might have around 80 meters, but Jurassic World Alive has up to 200. There's literally so much you can do from the comfort of your own home, so there's tons of couch play. The collection mechanic is also super unique, and naturally my favorite part of the game. There are over 280 marvelous creatures to collect, all with different rarities, from common to rare to epic to legendary to unique, all the way up to apex, plus hybrids and super hybrids. There's also some of your favorites from the films and shows, such as Blue, Scorpius Rex, Charlie, and of course Bumpy. Everyone loves Bumpy. You can even take the dinosaurs you collect and fuse them into hybrid dinosaurs. It's Jurassic, you gotta have some hybrids. Each dinosaur you collect is absolutely unique and stays in your personal collection forever, which you can feed, care for, and train. There's no duplicates. And because each one has its own set of moves alongside type advantages, your goal will be to level them up and assemble the perfect team to take into battle, both in PvE or PvP. Also, each battle is turn-based, so choosing the right team of dinosaurs and the right moves will be your key to success. When you download now using my link in the description box or pinned comment, make sure to join my alliance Team Collect Jurassic. There's only 49 spots left, so hurry up and join. And if all the spots are full, you can still add me as a friend under the social tab by tapping invite friend and then typing in my username shown here. I'll see you online and maybe we can even raid together. And we're back, so without further ado, let's explore the toys of Jurassic World Dominion. First up on our toy tour is Atrociraptor, and as the name implies, this raptor-like dinosaur looks to deliver all matter of savagery during an intense action sequence in the film. With 4 different Atrociraptors on screen in Dominion, each with their own name, these new dinos will be functioning as some sort of anti-hero raptor squad. When it comes to the toy versions, Mattel has released 3 of the 4 named Atrociraptors so far. Figures of Ghost, Red, and Pantera each come with a great approximation of their on-screen coloration, especially Ghost. The articulation present on all variations of Atrociraptor allows for a variety of action poses too, with arms, legs, neck, and of course jaw articulation. Much like the majority of Mattel Jurassic figures, the DNA scan code is hidden along the back of the figure, located right above the hips. As for missing Atrociraptor Tiger, we'll fill you in later on in the video on some of the upcoming toys that haven't hit store shelves quite yet. Jurassic World's true leading lady, Velociraptor Blue, is back for the final film installment, and this time she brought a +1. In typical Jurassic fashion, life found a way, and the only surviving member of Jurassic World's Raptor squad seems to have somehow procreated, creating an identical copy of herself named Beta. Mattel has rightfully been quick to capitalize on the new baby dino, with an action figure of the smaller sized Velociraptor alongside the full-grown Blue. While she seems a little bigger in proportion to her mom than she does in the film, it's understandable when you factor in all the different articulation packed into Beta. Just like her offspring, Velociraptor Blue has articulated appendages as well as opposable neck and jaw. DNA scan codes are located on the backside of both figures here as well, with Beta's tag extending the length of her tiny frame. This dino duo will likely be showing up a lot more in future Mattel toy releases. The Jurassic World films have brought many long-awaited species to the franchise since 2015, including fan-favorite Carnotaurus in Fallen Kingdom. For fans of the original Kenner toy line and novels, Carno's debut on screen in 2018 was a welcome one, as was the species' prominence in Netflix's Camp Cretaceous series. Naturally, Carnotaurus will also make an appearance in Dominion, which means we have a new toy of the popular carnivore to behold. While this figure is much smaller than previous releases, one can assume it's meant to represent a younger version of the Carnotaurus shown at some point during the film. One thing this all-new toy brings to the table, besides a color and pattern similar to that vintage Kenner figure we mentioned previously, is more articulation in the way of opposable neck and jaw, something Mattel's other Carnotaurus toys were sorely lacking. Additionally, the figure's DNA scan code can be accessed by simply popping out the tab above its hips. Here's hoping that a larger, similarly articulated toy of Carno is still to come from Mattel. While this next one isn't technically a dinosaur, it doesn't take away any of the excitement around its introduction in Jurassic World Dominion. Dimetrodon is no stranger to Jurassic toys though, with it being one of the very first species ever produced as part of Kenner's original Jurassic Park toy line back in the 90s, which makes its inclusion in Dominion all the more noteworthy. However, without any footage released of Dimetrodon in the new film, we don't have much to compare against the new toy. That being said, Mattel's latest incarnation of Dimetrodon is a fantastic figure all around, with a detailed, vibrant paint scheme that closely matches some of the key artwork we've seen on display in other licensed Dominion merchandise. As for articulation, there's still a surprising amount of movable joints built into this low-to-the-ground quadruped, while the DNA scan code is ingeniously hidden within the Dimetrodon's sail. Now all that's left is to see the actual creature in action during the film. At long last, one of Jurassic's original dino stars is making its return to the big screen in Jurassic World Dominion, Dilophosaurus, aka Spitter. After winning audiences over with its iconic, albeit brief appearance in Jurassic Park, the dinosaur sat the next 4 films out of frame, much to most fans' disappointment. Rest assured, Dilophosaurus is back for at least one last frill-shaking romp, and even better, there's an excellent action figure rendition arriving alongside it. The new toy features one of the most film-accurate paint applications yet of a Mattel Dilophosaurus, and sized up slightly from previous releases to make it feel even more imposing next to human action figures. The frill in particular is impressively detailed, and rightfully so, as it is essentially the defining feature of this dinosaur. Naturally, it's also an added articulation point to the figure so it can fold back or be posed fully open, ready to attack. The DNA scan code, which runs horizontal on Dilophosaurus, pulls out from the back. Welcome back, Spitter. After first showing up in the late Cretaceous setting of Dominion's prologue featurette that released last year, Moros Intrepidus will be brought back to life in the modern era during the film itself. And while its screen time may be minimal, the feathery little dinosaur's relation and therefore resemblance to T-Rex sets it apart from many of the other carnivores we see in the Jurassic franchise. When it comes to the actual toy of Moros, it's difficult to see any kind of similarity to what's presented in the film though, which is a bit disappointing. The bright colors and larger size are certainly the most obvious departure from the movie's dinosaur, but its overall cartoonish appearance is what really stands out. Moros still has a great range of articulation though, with the neck joint allowing for some unique poses. Access to the DNA scan code is of course on the back of the figure right above the legs. Expect to see a revised toy of this Moros Intrepidus from Mattel that hopefully matches the movie a little better later this year. The newest Jurassic film is apparently raptor crazy, with Pyroraptor joining the already discussed Atrociraptors and Velociraptors on screen in Dominion. What's so unique about this one is of course the feathers. Pyro is covered in fiery red plumage, marking the first time the franchise has really leaned into the idea of feathered dinosaurs. Plus it seems from the preview footage that we'll be seeing it swim instead of fly, which only adds to the allure around this new Jurassic species. And when it comes to Mattel's Pyroraptor action figure, overall it aligns pretty well with its movie counterpart, particularly in the face. Sculpted red feathers over a dark gray body help to complete Pyroraptor's unique look, though the arm feathers seem to have been clipped down from their more wing-like appearance in Dominion. Some added articulation on the shoulders is a welcome change from other figures of this size though, granting Pyroraptor the ability to pose in its signature claws-out attack stance. The DNA scan code is a little bit further back on the tail here too. For one of their first fully feathered dinosaur toys, Mattel still has some room to spread its wings with Pyroraptor. Now, Dominion isn't all carnivores, mind you, with Jurassic World three-peat species Ankylosaurus grazing its way into at least a handful of scenes in the latest film. The tank-like dinosaur was also quite prominent in Dominion's prologue featurette, so the toy version was all but expected from Mattel this year. Ankylosaurus itself has received quite a few different action figures since Fallen Kingdom, and this newest iteration doesn't really offer anything fresh in terms of the species' appearance in Dominion. The coloration isn't even a close match, however the base toy continues to be a spot-on representation of the Jurassic World Ankylosaurus in terms of detail. What is remarkable on the Dominion figure is the tail swinging action feature, which has never before been easier to activate, by simply pressing down anywhere on the top of the armored dino. The DNA scan code isn't as conspicuously hidden on this one though, with it located in plain sight right between Ankylosaurus' spikes. Herbivore fans, this one's for you. Speaking of herbivores, this next Jurassic plant eater has been conspicuously absent from any of Jurassic World Dominion's marketing thus far. Triceratops seems to have mostly been replaced on screen with Nasutoceratops from Battle at Big Rock, a post-Fallen Kingdom featurette released all the way back in 2019. While we're waiting on a Dominion-era toy of that species, we're left with Triceratops, which must have just barely survived the Mount Sibo eruption on Isla Nublar. Its toy form is alive and well though, with one of the more film-accurate, naturalistic paint schemes ever seen from Mattel for this dino. And much like Ankylosaurus, Trike's action feature has never been better. Its classic headbutting attack can be easily activated by pressing down on the back of the toy. The DNA scan code is pulled out near the back of the figure, located on its spine as expected. Now the wait is on for Mattel to deliver Nasutoceratops, the real ceratopsian star of Dominion. Often overshadowed by Jurassic's queen, the T-Rex, Allosaurus has finally come into its own since Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World Dominion promises a showdown of sorts with none other than Carnotaurus, and this time Allosaurus appears to have reached its fully grown adult size. Mattel rightfully sees this opportunity to make a considerably bigger toy of the dinosaur than the figures that came before it. This new Allosaurus improves upon its predecessors in every way, from better proportions to a color scheme closer to what we saw on screen in 2019's Battle at Big Rock featurette, as well as now in Dominion. And the play features here might just steal the show. Of course there's an electronic roaring action, but the highlight is the extreme damage, interactive gore on the side of the figure. A spring-loaded door on Allosaurus' chest reveals a breakaway ribcage and squishy organs inside. Because of this interactive damage feature, the DNA scan code is located on the back of the toy's neck instead of its usual location. Dominion's Allosaurus seems to finally get it all right. While dinosaurs are arguably the headlining stars of every Jurassic film, their human co-stars shouldn't be ignored, especially when it comes to Dominion's cast of returning characters from the original Jurassic Park. Owen Grady and Claire Dearing will be joined this time around by Ian Malcolm, Alan Grant, and Ellie Sattler for a new adventure that looks to please fans of both trilogies. Dominion will also introduce a few new faces as well, including pilot Kayla Watts. Mattel, for their part, has toys for most of these human characters ready to go. The likenesses, when compared to their real-life counterparts, look fairly similar too, with each figure sporting screen-accurate wardrobes that match to their appearance in Dominion. There's also a toy version of new villains like Rain Delacourt and Sonia Santos, as well as an alternate version of Owen with a motorbike. Each figure has a full range of articulation across their arms, legs, and heads, so they can be set up in a variety of poses so long as they are balanced properly. While there's still a few key figures like Ellie Sattler missing from the lineup, those will be released by Mattel in due time. Jurassic movies have always been synonymous with iconic vehicle designs, and Dominion will bring the franchise's Jeep obsession into the modern era with the all-new Jeep Gladiator. This ruggedly equipped modification of the real-life vehicle will be featured in the film as part of Biosyn, the ominous biotech corporation that until this point was only mentioned in the Jurassic novels. This Jeep definitely looks the part to drive alongside dinosaurs, so the fact that Mattel decided to release a remote-controlled toy that actually fits their other 3.75-inch scale figures is no surprise here. The RC car is officially licensed by Jeep too, which helps make it feel as screen-accurate as possible, if it weren't for the stickers on the sides. Instead of the Biosyn logo seen on the film vehicles, we have a generic Jurassic World logo that undermines an otherwise great recreation of Dominion's Jeep Gladiator. It does, however, function perfectly as an RC car, which even includes a fun trapping action feature. Bigger is always better when it comes to Jurassic creatures, it seems, and Quetzalcoatlus is poised to carry that tradition over into the franchise's flying reptile roster. This massive pterosaur looks to be equally as dangerous as any of Dominion's ground-dwelling dinos, promising at least one high-flying action sequence centered around Kayla's introduction as a pilot. Taking a look at Quetzalcoatlus, we find another figure that closely aligns with its on-screen design. Most importantly, it's big, including the species-defining impressive wingspan. All of the sculpted feathers and vibrant pops of color are here on the toy version too. And aside from accuracy, Mattel's Quetzalcoatlus features a couple of fun action features. Naturally, it can flap its wings at the push of a button, but it can also snap its beak open and shut with the press of another. The DNA scan code's implementation is a little odd here though, hidden away in a literal trap door on the back. All the same, the Quetzalcoatlus toy nails the landing. Jurassic World's action continues to span the land, air, and sea with the trilogy's iconic deep-sea monster, Mosasaurus, returning in Dominion. Mosa has been making itself at home in the world's oceans, free of feeding schedules in the confines of Isla Nublar's dubiously located lagoon. Perhaps it's one of the escaped assets that is harder to track down because of this. We'll just have to see during the film. Either way, Mosasaurus is also back in toy form, though it really isn't much different from Mattel's last toy of the species. Its deep aquatic paint deco is the main differentiator from Fallen Kingdom's Mosasaurus toy, as is the fact that it's at least partially made by ocean-bound plastic recyclables. There is some fun and functional articulation with the massive jaws, fins, and even the tail too. Speaking of the tail, the DNA scan code for Mosasaurus is found on a rather large tab near its base. We're still hoping at some point Mattel revisits Jurassic's only aquatic animal with an all-new toy. Now we're getting to the fun part. Jurassic World Dominion's biggest dinosaurs like the terrifying Therazinosaurus. Even being covered in feathers with a bird-like beak can't soften the intimidating presence of its giant claws. Simply put, Therazinosaurus has knives for hands, which it will undoubtedly put to good use in the movie, either against our human heroes or maybe even other dinosaurs. The imposing size of the species can't be understated here either, as it looks every bit as tall as Jurassic's other big carnivores. Luckily, Therazinosaurus' toy delivers on all of the above, alongside some great electronic play features, which we'll get to in a bit. This is another rightfully big toy from Mattel, full of feather details from tail to beak, and it doesn't just have claws, it knows how to use them. The electronic thrashing action is the perfect match with Therazinosaurus' defining physical feature, and the additional beak snapping is an added bonus. The DNA scan code pops out above the legs, but is otherwise well hidden in the feathers too. All in all, an excellent toy of an exciting new dinosaur for Jurassic. Before there was Blue, there was Rexy, Jurassic Park's affectionately named Tyrannosaurus Rex, who scored leading roles in every Jurassic World movie, including this latest film. After making quite an entrance in the prologue featurette, T-Rex will be stomping on the screen here again, likely for a rematch with Dominion's big dino baddie, which we'll get to later. But first, in regards to the toy, Rexy's latest incarnation from Mattel is also one of its best. This is mostly due to its alignment with the on-screen design that harkens back to Jurassic Park's version of the T-Rex. However, the play feature is what really seals the deal. Rexy swallows most smaller figures whole, including humans, thanks to jaws that open extra wide and a hollowed-out space in her throat. She also thrashes side to side, with both of these action features accompanied by electronic roars and growls. This figure's DNA scan tag is located right above its backside, but maintains a low profile when not in use. Dominion's Tyrannosaurus Rex is ready for battle, which brings us to our final dinosaur toy feature. Step aside Spinosaurus and move over Indominus Rex. Giganotosaurus is ready to make a name for itself in Jurassic World Dominion as this entry's villain dinosaur, and it already looks the part. Giga's design has a definite evil tinge to it, with exaggerated proportions on its skull and an oversized spiky ridge that runs the entire length of its body. Naturally, the newest apex predator is massive in size too, setting it up as a serious threat against the defending Jurassic champion T-Rex. Mattel's Giganotosaurus toy is similarly equipped for this dino showdown and perfectly captures the menacing appearance that we see on screen in Dominion. Size-wise, it could be somewhat bigger compared to the previously discussed T-Rex figure, but it compensates with a savage action feature that sees Giga violently lashing its whole body around, which, paired with the electronic roaring feature, looks quite intimidating next to Rexy's more measured attacks. Far back on the tail is the DNA scan code, which is effectively camouflaged by the design's spiky ridge. Will Giganotosaurus finally get the best of Jurassic's beloved Rexy in Dominion? We'll just have to watch and find out. One last thing before we wrap up this video, Jurassic World Alive is running a sweepstakes to celebrate its 4th anniversary. Participants can enter for a chance to win a trip to Universal Parks and Resorts in Hollywood or Orlando. There's also more prizes to be won, like physical mystery boxes with Jurassic World branded items and Jurassic World Alive in-game rewards. There's a Gleam link down below in the description box with details on how to enter, as well as full details and rules. There you have it, folks. Tracking down dinosaurs to add to your collection is just as fun in Jurassic World Alive as it is as hunting the toys down themselves. Download the game at the link below, and don't forget to add Collect Jurassic as a friend so that we can play together. Jurassic World Dominion's plethora of on-screen dinosaurs has certainly paved the way for a whole host of excellent toys from Mattel, alongside the expansive cast of human characters and at least one Jurassic Jeep for the modern era. However, there's still a few holes to fill in terms of missing dinosaurs, like Triceratops and Dreadnoughtus, or headlining humans like Ellie Sattler or Maisie Lockwood. Rest assured, those toys are all on their way soon enough, and you can find out all the details, including availability, HD image galleries, unboxing reviews, and more on collectjurassic.com. theatrical.com. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Collect Jurassic here on YouTube for even more Jurassic toy and collectible content. And don't forget to follow Collect Jurassic on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook too. And be sure to check out Jurassic World Dominion in theaters now. Until next time, thanks for watching.